Welcome to Get Inspired Radio with Sue London. You've come to the right place for inspiration, empowerment, and hope. Want to create an inspired life? Host Sue London knows exactly how to help you create it. She knows firsthand from overcoming illness, disease, divorce, and near death. Overcoming life's obstacles has led Sue to become a media mogul, author, and trainer, helping millions of people cope, heal, and thrive. Join Sue and her inspiring guests weekly as they bring you the tools, techniques, products, and services to help you get inspired and create the life you desire. Now, here's Sue London.
Hello everyone, I'm Sue London and you are listening to Get Inspired Radio. I want to invite you to stay with us for the next hour and let us inspire you and help you to create the life that you desire. Now you can connect with me after the show through my personal website, and that address is AskSueLondon.com. That's AskSueLondon.com. And for more hope and inspiration and empowerment, I want to encourage you to visit our website, GetInspiredMediaNetwork.com. That's GetInspiredMediaNetwork.com. Now, folks, I've got a couple questions for you. Have you ever asked the question, why me? Or why is this happening to me in my life right now? Well, today you're in for a treat. We are going to help you come up with those answers. Now, our topic of the show today is everything does happen in our life for a reason, and my amazing guest is Brenda Pearce. Now, Brenda Pearce is a dynamic, inspiring soul. She's a registered nurse who has evolved beyond the traditional job label. Now, after a 3-minute hands-on energy healing session, her life changed. She has delved into the science of energy healing and how it can integrate into healthcare and beyond. Now, after years of drinking in personal development information through teleseminars, books, etc., she thought, why not me? Now, she has transformed into sharing her message of hope and possibilities and has developed her own teleseminar series, interviewed those whom she truly learned from, and then she developed her own online radio show and on-demand media network and co-authored 2 amazing enlightening books of inspiration based on her own experiences. Now, you can learn all about Brenda Pearce at her 2 websites. We got 2 here for you. It's biomatrixtherapy.com. That's spelled BIOMATRIXTherapy.com. That's biomatrixtherapy.com. And her media network site is efactorlive.com. That's efactorlive.com. Now, Brenda, welcome to the show, my friend.
Wow, welcome to you too, Sue, to your brand new venture on this beautiful new network and channel. I'm so excited to be here with you and your beautiful audience today.
Well, you know, I'm grateful to have you here, too. I have to tell everyone, I absolutely love this girl. And, Brenda, you are just such an example for me of, you know, the right person comes along at the right time when you're in the right place. And you have really changed my life. And what I want to do today is talk about how everything in our life does happen for a reason. And let's show examples and you know, share stories of how, you know, people can become more aware of they've got everything right in front of them. They just have to kind of open their eyes and things can unfold for them too, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it's such a thrill and an honor because you two are a very, very bright light in my life. And I'm so thankful for the, you know, just the act of randomness that got us connected in the first place. But then again, nothing happens by accident, right?
That's right. And, you know, I think what we need to do is kind of go back and share that when we met, and this basically, was it just this past May?
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah. It seems like forever, but, you know, it's only just a recent connection.
Yeah, and folks, how this all unfolded was that Brenda was a guest on my radio show, and we were talking, I think we were talking about a new book you had just come out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So Brenda was talking about her book, and we had all kinds of technical challenges. And in the back of my mind, I just, you know, I was getting all these messages and that, and I just kept having problems with technology. And I said, you know what, Brenda, we got to bring you back. I was with another station at the time, and I said, you just got to bring you back because, you know, we got to make this work for you and get your story out. And it just seemed like from that connection, we weren't supposed to just make it all about a radio interview. And Brenda has been such an amazing mentor for me. I had no idea at the time I was going to be setting up my own media network, and that was Get Inspired Media Network. And, that was starting to unfold after we had talked. And Brenda already has a great, amazing, inspirational media network herself. And she's been really great at, helping me to kind of put those pieces all together. Brenda, what I know for me with our relationship, a simple radio show turned into a great friendship. You feel like a big sister to me a lot of the times. And a lot of times, we will kick each other's butt, but we love each other and, we will support each other. What would you say has come out of it for you in our relationship? Not to brag, but more to point out to people how something so simple, what happened for me, things happen for you as well.
Oh my gosh, yes. The amazing thing is, yes, a simple conversation can lead to so many opportunities when you live from a life of guided intuition. And Sue, you are definitely like a soul sister to me, because the fact is, when we had that first initial conversation, and even though I could have turned away and been really upset by all the glitches and all the technical issues, I knew that we were being guided by higher forces, so to speak, in terms of, overcoming these issues and challenges, because there was more to be discovered by more conversation. And for me, Sue, I had been listening to some of your shows from your other efforts and things like that, and I never ever thought that we would have the connection that we had. And when it happened, it was like spontaneous combustion, because it turns out that we are very much in alignment. We're both have so much in common, and we're really heading in the right and same directions together. So collaboratively, what has happened for us has been a great synergistic growth potential, not only for what I've given to you, but what you have given to me. Great expansion in terms of my elevating the game as well. And I could never, ever have dreamed this. Even 3 years ago, when I was still stuck going through the throes of divorce and stuck in job mentality, and never ever saw any of this coming. And I just look forward to greater and greater connections and relationships with you as part of my deepest friend circle.
Mm-hmm. And I was just going to say that, what you and I, what we think alike in the way is the same as how our radio network here, Connect Me Radio Network, is about, is that it's important now in our world that people don't work against each other, that they work together as a team. And basically, some people could have said, hey, you've got your own network and I've got my own network, and you two shouldn't be sharing stuff. You shouldn't be doing that. But here's an example, folks, of two people having similar things. Both, Brenda and I are Reiki masters. We do a lot of similar stuff, like Brenda has said. We could have said, hey, you do your thing, I do my thing, we're competition. But we don't see it like that. We are like doing similar things, but we're helping each other grow. And I got to share with everybody that Brenda is in the process of joining our Connect Me radio network as well. And she's going to be becoming part of our family here, too. So I'm going to be thrilled to hear you on our show, on our channel here, too, on the Empowerment Channel.
I'm so excited about that. It's amazing how things have unfolded.
It is true. It's so true. Now, I always say, that we are in the right place to meet the right people at the right time. Do you not agree?
Yes, absolutely. And every moment can be that moment of connection. You never want to ignore an opportunity when it presents itself, whether it be just somebody saying hi, returning that hi, or smiling to somebody, let alone the synergistic excitement that has happened when you can make a great connection that can lead to great opportunities. And working together in collaborative cooperation is definitely the model that is going to sustain all the difficulties, trials, and tribulations of this day and age.
You're so right on there, my friend. What I want to do is we're going to take a short break. During the break, we're going to play a song called The Climb. And this song is by my great friends, the Texas Tenors. The Texas Tenors were the guys who won on the America's Got Talent in 2009 for the best vocal group. And I was really blessed. My husband and I, Ross, were down in Branson in May. A lot of things happen in May, Brenda. We were down in Branson in May, and I met these guys, most wonderful guys, and they have so openly shared that we could play this song on the show. It's called The Climb, and listen to the words while we're on the short break, because it will really help to empower you, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So we're going to go into the break. You're listening to Get Inspired Radio, and when we come back, we're going to talk about more about how things do happen for a reason. So enjoy the Texas Tenors, the song The Climb, and then we'll be right back after this short break.
I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying, you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no direction. My faith is shaking, but I gotta be strong, gotta keep my head held high. There's always gonna be another mountain, I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle, sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. I'm facing, the chances I'm taking, sometimes might knock me down. No, I'm not breaking, I may not know it, but these are the moments I'm gonna remember most. Just gotta keep going, and I gotta be strong. Just keep pushing on. There's always gonna be another mountain, I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle, sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. It's all about the climb. Whoa. There's always gonna be another mountain, I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle, sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb, yeah. 'Cause it's all about the climb. Just hold on, one more day. It's all about the climb. Just keep the faith. It's all about.
We're back on Get Inspired Radio with Sue London. Folks, today we've got the amazing Brenda Pearce with you, and we're talking about how things do happen in our life for a reason. Now, Brenda, we talked in the first segment about, you and I are similar. We both went through challenges. And I can honestly tell everyone, and you know this about me too, that years ago I struggled with Crohn's disease. I was diagnosed when I was like 26 years old. I had my intestine burst when I was 34. I was given 30 minutes to live in my life, and then I had a near-death experience. And throughout that whole process of just going through Crohn's disease, I kept saying to my doctors and everyone around me, why? Why was this happening? And then when I, come out of the hospital, like missing 3 feet of my intestine and, in recovery, I learned that my husband of 16 years had a girlfriend. So then I went through divorce. And again, why me? Like, come on, seriously, I come back from this near-death experience and go through all this stuff and learn this now and go through divorce. But I can tell everyone listening, and Brenda, I'm sure you'll agree, that when we go through challenges, we learn such amazing life lessons. And I know for me that, going through the challenges with my health, it showed me about how I had to be more grateful of what I had in front of me. I had to learn, a lot more about putting myself first and exercise and eating right. It just was so amazing to go through those steps. And now I'm very proud to say that I've been blessed to have helped 10,000 plus people with disease to help them to get back into that healthy state. So that's why that happened for me. And going through divorce, for me, it was such an awesome gift when I look back, because it made me available to have Mr. Right come in my life. And Mr. Right's my husband, Ross, and we have been together for 13 years. And we love each other so dearly, and I really did not know what love was like until I met him. So I'm so grateful that I went through that divorce. People thought I was crazy, because going through this divorce and that, but it was truly the greatest gift for me to go through health challenges and learning that this, first husband of mine was like that, because I am so grateful for everything I have now. I have my health, I have love, I have everything a person could ask for. Now, Brenda, that's my story. Folks, that's my story. Brenda, share your story and how the lessons, what came out of that for you, because you've had some stuff happening that were pretty big too.
Sure, I'd love to share just a snippet. You can catch, some of these stories in the books that I've been co-authoring this past year. But the great Lorraine Cohen has said, you have to have a breakdown before you have a breakthrough. And unfortunately, the breakdowns are necessary, because that is where our greatest personal growth happens. And yet the things that we have happen in our life, we would never choose, or never anybody wish it on us. And yet it is ours to deal with and do with what it was meant to be, and that is the gift that it is. For me personally, I married the man of my dreams, and we lost a child. He suffered a very severe neck injury, C1, C2 hangman's fracture, just at the time that the babies were being conceived. We had to walk away from a house we built and the farm that we lived on. We had to start over, and in the midst of that, my husband started to show signs of severe mental illness, of schizophrenia and psychosis, and then ensued the next 20 years was a journey of mental illness and good times in there as well, but also the journey of mental illness in a loved one. And then eventually...
That's tough.
Yes, and then eventually divorce as well. In that midst of time, we had, even though we lost one son, we had 3 other children. We did have lived the life of our dreams in a beautiful home that we eventually had to sell. But in the midst of that, I also found teleseminars and personal transformation. I found that whole realm of self-development, and I really went to town on me during that time. So that was like my incubation time. And when the divorce finally happened, was resolved, was actually my breakthrough, or where I cracked through the egg and I came into this new existence, which is one of personal transformation, sharing enlightenment, helping others, sharing the stories and helping shine the light on other people who've gone through similar circumstances, and I share their stories of triumph and success, and that we too can move on from tragedy to great triumph. And so there's great blessings in all of this, as well as the great nights of sleeplessness and tears. But right now, when I look back, I wouldn't change a single thing.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I say the same thing. And don't you, when you tell people that, they give you kind of look like, you're really weird?
Yes. Yes, they do. But then, you know what, they think about it for a minute or two and go, wow, that there is something in this for them as well. And, you know, so, because lots of times people go through their own journey and never look beyond it. And people don't share these kinds of truths in such a raw and ready way. And so I think that the world is starting to be ready for it, because we want to empower ourselves, and we want the tools, and we want the people that are going to help us to share and shed and break through to higher resonances and higher life purpose. And so I really applaud what you're doing, Sue, here on the Empowered channel on Connecting Radio.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Now, I talk, and I've said earlier that I've had a lot of experiences where we've had trips. And one of the things that happened in my past was I had a near-death experience. And I will tell you folks that, and Brenda, you know this too, that when I had that happen, I was in a place in my life where it was like, I'm in and out of hospitals for years. I'm struggling just to get through an hour, not just a day or a week or a month or a year. My health was really, well, my weight was down to 80 pounds. I'm 5'5". Do I need to say more around that, folks? I was very weak and sick and tired of being sick. And so what had happened when my intestine burst, the doctor said I had 30 minutes to live, and I did end up going to the other side. And when I was there, I loved it. It was incredibly awesome, absolutely beautiful. It was filled with love and such support, and it was something that I had never had in my life. And when I was there, my grandpa Buck, was always my best friend, my mentor, my hero. He was somebody that could kick my butt in a loving way, and I would listen to him as a kid who was very strong-willed. Or maybe the word, Brenda, I should use is determined. Would that be a better word to use?
Yes, that would be a good one, yes.
Yeah, and so when I was in the White Light, I wanted to stay. You know, it was awesome seeing my grandpa, and I just loved him so much. I lost him when I was 21. And he said, you know, Susie, you have to go back. You have millions of people and animals you need to help. And I thought, okay, seriously, how do I do this? I'm in and out of hospitals. Like, I didn't believe him, but I did believe him because he was such a powerhouse in my life. Important part in played that role when he was here with us. So I came back, and I remember laying in bed, in that hospital bed, and I thought, this is just, the whole experience just changed my life in such a big way. And what happened was, I remember started praying, and I'm not somebody up until then that would be praying and asking for things and going to church. I just wasn't in that place. But I started praying, and I said to God, you know, I'm really grateful for having my life. I'm grateful to be back. I have 2 beautiful babies, and I have this gorgeous, lovable little puppy dog, Rocky, and I was grateful. And I made this vow to God that if, you know, he gave me a second chance in life, and because I came back, I would follow his lead. So when I get these thoughts, these messages, these intuition feelings, I always follow through and take action because I know that there's a higher power leading me. And we have gone on so many incredible journeys, my husband Ross and I, and these free trips come up, and we're taken to help somebody, or there's going to be a catastrophe, and we're there to help people with their stress. Brenda, you're a healer yourself. Do you experience these kind of meant to be things coming up for you that you're put in a place to help people?
Absolutely. Every day there's something, whether big or small. No, it's amazing. Like a 3-minute Reiki session 11 years ago changed my life. It really, really, really made me look at what is the nature of reality. And as such, so I followed through, became a master teacher, and every day there is something, whether I am at work and somebody is experiencing severe stress, or as a healthcare worker, just putting my hands on somebody as they are transitioning to the other side and beyond, giving them a sense of peace, you know, is really beyond words. I can't share with you enough about how this has been such a miracle in my life. One experience for me was being there while one of my children was having a near-death experience, and he was going through to the light and experiencing the other side. And while I was doing Reiki, being able to talk about what he was seeing channeled back through him. And it is, as you say, such a beautiful place. And so once you have these kinds of experiences that happen in your life, you know that life is not just a series of consequences, but a series of opportunities. And, you know, taking advantage of them and using them to the highest good is what this is all about.
Now, you and I have been talking about Reiki. Can I get you to tell everybody what is Reiki for those that don't know what it is?
I would love to. Reiki is actually Japanese words for universal life force energy. So when we think about that, what is that? Well, I do know that if you stand under a corridor of electrical cables, like from, say, Nanticoke, Ontario, from the hydro generating center there, if you stand under those with fluorescent light bulbs, you're not touching any electricity, but those light bulbs will light up. Now, you know, you can try it yourself and see. I know that there was, I had seen this in the paper years ago. So there's this universal energy all around us. And without that life force part, that's part of that spark, we would not be alive right now. We would not be experiencing the emotions we have. And so universal life force energy basically can be channeled through somebody who is attuned, which means that their frequency of energy is in alignment with the life force energy. And when the hands go on to somebody, like battery cables, when you're going to charge a dead battery from a live battery, that's what the person is who is the person with the hands. They're the cable. And the universal all around us, the life force energy around us, is that live battery. And so basically being attuned to that frequency and putting your hands on somebody with their conscious consent in presence, or because energy knows no distance or time, that is one of Einstein's tenets, you can connect energetically with somebody anywhere around the world, and you can, you know, cause and effect a battery charge to happen, which will elevate their vibrational frequency and help them step into another level of understanding, health, well-being, love, joy, whatever it is. I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. And I want to share with everybody, the turning point in my health was I had doctors tell me that they wanted to remove my large bowel. And they said that was there was no option. And when they told me that I was going to, at 26 years old, have to have this, you know, bowel removed, now this bag attached to me for the rest of my life, I thought, no way I'm looking for other options. And the right person showed up. It was actually my ex-husband's aunt who did Reiki. And she said, I can help you with this, and you don't need to go through that surgery. Now, saying that, folks, I don't, you know, always check with the health provider you're working with and feel that it's right for you, and talk with others. Don't just stop stuff, you know, to get it, you know. Brenda, help me with this.
Yeah.
You're a nurse. You want to make sure, folks, go ahead.
Here's the thing. You know, there is a lot of wonderful integrative therapies out there, and really they are magnificent and could and should, you know, be considered as part of your medical routine, but never a substitution for medical treatment, diagnosis, diagnostics, follow-throughs, whatever it is. But use it as a tool, and you will see that you know that this will work out well. In fact, there's a wonderful organization, if you don't mind, Sue, called People Life Integrative Medicine, which is emerging, and it's based here in Ontario, Canada, and it's basically looking to create integrative networks between the conventional medical system and the world of integrative medicine, which is well worth exploring. And so talk to your medical practitioner, or you can also go and check them out at www.peoplesrim.org. Check that out, because it might open you up to new possibilities and empower you in your own health care and self-care.
Yeah, because what I did was I got the brochures from this aunt who did the Reiki, and I got lots of information from her, and I took them back to my doctors. Now, the one was like, if we can save your large bowel, yeah, like she was open to that, but she was kind of, you know, I'm not sure about this, but if that's what you want to do, right? And then my surgeon that I was working with, I said, we're going to make a deal here. You're going to give me 3 months, and I'll see if this can help me before we do this procedure. And he says, I'll give it to you. And he wanted all the information. And now what came out of that is he refers people for Reiki as a first option before he does surgery. So I thought that was pretty cool that they were both so open-minded to that. But that's where how I was working with my medical team, you know. Yeah. And then, you know, now I work with a naturopath, and I always talk with him first versus, you know, going and trying something new. So
that's wonderful. Well, that's a success story. You know, Dr. Oz is a proponent to energy healing and a lot of naturopathic and homeopathic type things. His wife is a Reiki master teacher, and when he was doing surgery, he actually had a Reiki practitioner in there to help with the healing and the process. And actually, Reiki practitioners are very, very helpful in post-op to help the person come through the anesthetic safely, clearly, with a lot less complications, and the use of a lot less analgesia has been also documented as well. It's not a guarantee, but there have been a lot of studies that do show that there is a great benefit to that. So well worth people checking out. This woohoo stuff is not so woohoo anymore.
Right, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I do surgery on our family and various people, and I have experienced, you know, them coming back to me and saying, you know, boy, they healed quicker, or the surgery wasn't as bad as what we expected for the length of time and that. So I've experienced people sharing stories, and I've also done Reiki on my animals as well. And, you know, that's been really, because my animals are really, really, as Brenda, you know, my babies, right? They're like, even though I have children and I've got grandchildren, I love my puppies. So when I can help them. Brenda, what I want to do is we're going to go to a break. And then when we come back, let's talk about how we can help people to get into the mindset to be open to see these opportunities around them. Okay. Sound good?
Great. Fantastic.
So, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to inspire you some more. So stay tuned. You're listening to Get Inspired Radio. Stay tuned. We're back on Get Inspired Radio, here with Sue London and my amazing guest, Brenda Pearce. So, Brenda, we've had an awesome conversation here today, and we've been talking about meant-to-be's that have happened for us. And I gotta say that when I wasn't in that good place and I was having a pity party, I will admit it, I was having a pity party about poor me and why me and all this. I was missing a lot of opportunities, and I was missing the right people showing up that were right in front of me. Let's talk for a few minutes to the people who are in a place where they're missing stuff, or they're down, or they're depressed, or they're, you know, in a sad state, how they can shift that.
I love that. I love that piece, because there's a lot of amazing things we can do to help shift consciousness to the greater possibilities that exist and are available for each and every one of us. I want to make that a parenthesis there, that there isn't an exclusive group of people, and I think you'll agree with that one.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, you know, one of the things that I like to do is, and I encourage people to find this book by Jean Slater called Hiring the Heavens. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to believe in all this stuff, but if you believe that there's a higher consciousness or a super consciousness or a God or source or whatever it is that you label as being something which is super opulent to your own life experience and seen or unseen or whatever it is. I personally believe in angelic forces for many, many reasons. Having an angel child is one of them. I really believe and that he is angelic and is with us and guiding us and supporting us in many, many amazing ways. But Jean Slater says, there are archangels, and everybody hears about Archangel Michael and Raphael and all that sort of thing. But one of the things is they're like the super highway to the specialized angels that are out there. So if you need a time management helper, just implore to hire an angel up there to support you who is a time management expert. Believe it or not, they exist. I remember a few years back listening to Nicole Whitney, who is the host of News for the Soul, who was one of the most formative in the world of transformation. And she had bought a piano. Never ever knew how to play piano, was somehow compelled to buy this piano, brought it home, put her hands on the keys and just let go and connected with, I don't know who, some kind of pianist above. And her hands, as long as she didn't think about it, her hands were playing. Perfect timing, perfect, really amazing music. As soon as she got conscious about it and started to look at where her fingers were going, the music stopped. So there's this possibility that if you need to have some support, there's probably some higher force available for you to just hire and call on and just ask for their presence to help you in whatever it is that you need. And the proof is in the pudding.
Can I add to that? I'm really still connected to my grandpa. And I always sit down every morning and I make my to-do list and what I want to accomplish in that. And I always look, what's important to me is have the balance in my day so that I have my time, I have, my work time, I have my exercise time, my puppy time, my husband-wife time, my kid, grandma time and all this. And so some days when it's really, really busy, or if I have a busy schedule, I call my grandpa Buck now, who's on the other side, I call my virtual assistant Angel. And I'll say to him, okay, here's the deal. I need some help. I need you to help me to either lighten my load or take some of this from me to make it flow easier. And, every time, I might get a phone call from a daughter and she'll say, hey, Mom, can you take a little break and we go like on a mom and daughter shopping trip? Now, when your kids are teenagers and they're daughters and they want to have time with their mother, this is an awesome thing you want to have, guys. Right, Brenda? You got a daughter.
Exactly.
So I'll say to my grandpa, okay, you know what, like, help me with this. And I will come back every single time that I've done something different or that valued and honored myself. And I'll come back and it's like, that is done for me. That project is taken care of. It's like that person will connect with me instead of me having to connect with them at midnight or something when I come back, kind of thing. So that is really a good point to make, because we are surrounded and we do have help on the other side. We have loved ones, and so many people don't tap into that. That's a really good point that you brought up there, Brenda.
Well, and a good point you brought up is honoring and valuing yourself. You can only be as good as the love you give to yourself. And in fact, it's been proven the love you receive is in reflection to the love you give to yourself. So another really, really important thing is a lot of people will not look at themselves in the mirror and say, I love you. And I encourage everyone, if you want to raise the amp of vibration in your life and call to you the relationships, the financial success, the business opportunities, the whatever it is, the cup of coffee you want, love yourself. I think that is where, love can change the world. There's that Dionne Warwick song, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Well, it's true. And I think that is another key ingredient to opening up your consciousness and your connection to all that's within and around you.
And I got to share with everybody, because I want you to know I'm human too. And Brenda, you know this story. When I went through everything I went through, my ex-husband was also emotionally abusive. So I really had a lot of stuff and didn't think I was worthy of being loved in that. And I remember I was working with his coach, and he says, I want you to stand in front of the mirror, and I want you to say, Sue, I love you. You're an awesome person. And I looked at him. I said, there's no way in heck that I am going to say that. No way is it happening. Now, Brenda, you know us girls like to spend a lot of time in bathrooms in front of mirrors, right? Like, they're right there for us, right? Mm-hmm. And so every time I'd go in the washroom and see this mirror, and I'd say, Sue, I love you. You're an awesome person. I couldn't do it. It took me 3 weeks of every single time I'd go in that washroom. I couldn't do it. And then finally when I did, it was the biggest breakthrough for me. So folks, you know, you're hearing Brenda and I telling you these things. It was a journey for us as well. And I can tell you now, I can go in front of that mirror and I can say, oh, Sue, I love you so much. You're such a great person, and I'm so proud of you. Look at you having a great hair day. And I'll talk with myself, and we have 4 daughters, and we've got 2 grandsons. They think I'm completely nuts. They really think I'm nuts. And, of course, they have their fun moments of, you know, making fun of Mom over looking at Mom's lost it again, you know. But I catch them doing it now, too. Oh. So, you know, be the example, right, for your kids, and work on yourself and get past that. And if I can do it, everybody can do it.
Yeah. I echo that. Absolutely.
Brenda, can I get you to share some final thoughts?
I just
no pressure.
No pressure. What I want everybody to realize, how important it is to empower you, to empower the world. And it doesn't mean that you have to do something magnificent like having a radio show, writing books, that sort of thing. What it means is empowering you to love yourself, and the ripple effect will magnify around you. There is so much scientific, and I'm all about the science. There is a lot of scientific data about raising your vibrational set point. There is a book out there, and I want to encourage everybody. I've told you a couple books already. Gene Slater, Hiring the Heavens. This one is Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins. And Dr. David passed away 2 years ago. But this work, if there's any one work you want to read, this is the one I want you to get your hands on. It is available in all the major bookstores and online, so there's no lack or limitation. I found it in the library. So if I can find it, you can too. If it can transform my life and Sue's life as well, then I am sure there's something, a nugget, a piece of something that's there for you. And if you want to have an opportunity to receive work with me, I have a 28 days of Reiki love and support followed by a half-hour live session, and you can access that at biomatrixtherapy.com. And I look forward to having you on my show as well, Sue. We're going to be starting the Empower Hour on the Empower channel, and I'm so excited about the opportunities we have to make positive change in the world. And love you all.
And right back to you, my friend. That was nicely said, and very important words of wisdom for everybody to take in. What I want to do, and of course, Brenda, we have to share efactorlive.com too. Your media network. Got to get everyone checking that out.
Yes, exactly. Sue London is on there, and I'm so excited to be on the Get Inspired Media Network as well. So join us and join our families, because we have both amassed an amazing group of people who are providing on-demand media, their services and products. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. Now, Brenda, I want you to stay with us, because I want to share a story with everybody about, this is the story about the life of Sue London and a journey about me being open and how things unfolded about us helping a man. So here's the story, folks, and this is just an example about how things can happen so easily flowing, and you can make such a huge difference and not even know it's about to happen. So here's the story. Okay, my husband and I, we got a phone call. We had just come back from 3 weeks of being in Hawaii, and we got a phone call that we were being given this free trip to Las Vegas. Now, we had been to Las Vegas before, and when you've been in Hawaii for 3 weeks, to me, there was absolutely no comparison. I really didn't care to go. And I was about to say no, and then what happened, something in my mind kept saying, no, you got to go on this trip. You got to take this trip. This inner wisdom was coming through to me, and I said to Ross, you know what? Tell them, forget it. We'll go on this trip. And by the way, tell them that we're going to bring our daughter, and she's 11 years old. And so he took care of booking the trip, and we went in June that year. And I'm thinking as we get to Las Vegas, I thought, what have I done? You know what? This is not a family place. We brought our 11-year-old daughter. What were we going to do? In Las Vegas, the kids can't stop in the casinos. You got to walk through. The pools were filled with people that were drunk, and it was just not the environment that we wanted our kids in. But there was something still in me saying that we had to have this child with us. So we were going through our time, and it's kind of become this little game with our family that when we would take a trip, every time we were being led to help somebody in need or help them to go through challenges, that kind of thing. So this is day 4 at this point, and we're thinking, okay, well, where's the person? Why are we here? Who are we supposed to help? Like, what is this all about? So the 3 of us were being very open-minded, and we were, looking for the sign, or the person to lead us to the next spot in this journey. And so then all of a sudden, day 4, we're walking on the strip, and we're thinking, oh gosh, we wish we could go home. And we were there for a week, folks. So we're walking around, and then all of a sudden, this man said, he saw we were a family, and he wanted to give us tickets for dinner, tickets for a show, and up one of the towers. And we thought, okay, this was interesting. And there was no catch, by the way, either with this. And so I'm pointing that out because miracles do happen in our life, and don't always think there's always a catch with everything. Okay, so we were being open-minded. And so that later that night, we were thinking, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe the person's going to come. So we went into the restaurant. That was the first part of the journey, and we were standing in line. And if you ever stood in line for something and you could just sense that someone is watching you, or you feel that, you've got eyes behind you, and you just have that feeling, well, that's what was happening in this restaurant for me. And Ross and I and our daughter were standing in line, and I turned around and I saw this older man. He was about 72 years old. He was standing behind Ross, and he was staring at me. And I looked at him, and I shared a smile. And he was kind of embarrassed that he'd gotten caught staring at me. And he quickly turned to Ross, and he said, I have to apologize. I've been staring at your wife and your family. You have a beautiful family, by the way. You're a very lucky man. And as he was talking, I could feel my heart become really heavy, and I could feel that, this man was filled with a lot of sadness, and he seemed very lonely. So I leaned in, and I said to Ross, whispering, this is the reason why we're here. I said to Ross, join us, and this man's got to join us. So the man sat down with us, and he went on to share that he was on this trip fulfilling a dying wife's wish. And it was really hard for him, and they had taken the same trip for 40 years, and he promised her on her deathbed that he would continue to take the trip. And it was a horrific trip for him. He felt alone, he was sad, his heart was broken, he was missing his loved one. And then all of a sudden we come along, and it just really helped him to deal with, this tough trip. When we're sitting there, I said to him, if you had one wish, what would that be? And he said he would love it if he could make his 11-year-old granddaughter a Sunday. But she lived on the other coast, and he was getting too old and frail to do the trip, so he knew it would never happen. So at that point, our 11-year-old daughter got up, took his hand, and said, how about you make me that Sunday? So, it was a very touching moment for my husband and I, very proud moment. And we watched this man, make this incredible Sunday full of the sugar, all this stuff you don't want your child to have. But they were having a heyday. And it was just such a wonderful moment for this man, and really touched his heart. So, folks, I wanted to share with you that this is just something about a special moment of me becoming aware of someone watching me, sharing a smile with them, and making such a difference in their life. And it's such a gift that our family really holds and will continue to always remember as a special moment in our life. I hope that something that Brenda and I have said on this show today, or something that I've shared in the story, is going to help you along your journey. Now, for more information and more stories, you can visit getinspiredmedianetwork.com. That's getinspiredmedianetwork.com. And I do want to thank our guest, Brenda Pearce, for being with us today. And I want to thank all of you for tuning into Get Inspired Radio. We want to wish you much love and many blessings, and have an awesome week. And I look forward to talking with you again real soon.
You've been listening to Get Inspired Radio with Sue London. If you've missed any part of this program or would like to find out more about Sue London and her products and services and how to get inspired, please visit AskSueLondon.com. That address is AskSueLondon.com. Tune in to Get Inspired Radio every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to be inspired by radio host Sue London and her weekly guests to help you create the life you desire.